Hello, I'm Nicola Amadora. This is an opportunity for you to explore living embodied connection, the red thread that unites psychology, spirituality, and relating in a really deep and profound way. Recently, I had a student of mine and client who said that this connection piece, it was missing in her endless therapy she did, and also in her spiritual practice she did for years. This connection that helped her to bring everything together, to allow her to land more fully in her loving presence, and to heal a trauma that was with her for life. It also, for me right now, I feel very passionate about it because we are in such unprecedented times. And when we go through turmoil, not just inside, but outside in our world, we need ways that really help us to navigate our ship personally and globally together. So I came upon this red thread that alive connectedness. Many years ago, I had done 40 years of spiritual practice and been engaged in 30 years of deep therapy for myself, but also offering it to many other people. And I've been working as a spiritual teacher for about 30 years, guiding many people across the world. And I came upon this piece that I felt like was the missing link in many spiritual traditions, but also in psychology. That missing link that was also missing, that was also needed in people's relationships. And my goodness, we all know how important it is that we can relate well in our world. And it's really great to learn skills and communication ways that help us. And it's really helpful to engage in a spiritual practice. It's also very helpful and necessary to engage in therapeutic work so we can heal often the deepest traumas that are hidden in our bodies that hold the life force stagnant. And this, how does something open up that is really closed down inside of us? We can imagine ourselves being all love, but it isn't embodied until we free up the places inside that are contracted, that are held tight for a very good reason, because there has been hurt. And as we all know, that hurt has occurred often in our earliest childhood time, of wounding that happened with another person. Maybe it began with your parents. Maybe it began with your first boyfriend or girlfriend. And maybe it began later in life. But for everybody, something happened that made you feel like you have to contract. You realized that this world wasn't safe. It's this beautiful image when we think of, like, we come to this earth, and of course we expect nothing but to be loved, to be embraced, to be welcomed, to be well cared for and tended for not just physically, but emotionally, and on all levels. Well, let's be honest. For whom has that happened, really? And there's often this, at some point, when, a parent doesn't really show up present, or rejects you, or worse, you experience abuse. What happens in that moment, when that happens many times especially, is we contract inside. It's like you hold the breath because it hurts so much. And as a child, you cannot really navigate this when you experience really deep pain, or fear and panic or anger. In that moment, we need somebody who is there. That is really a guiding hand, and who is really present, who can say, I welcome, I'm here with your fear. I'm here with your pain. I hold you through this. So most of us have not experienced that healthy relating. And since no parent is perfect, and since we all carry stuff around and have blocked our, let's say, our hearts and bodies from getting too close to anybody, getting too close to the potential of being not just loved, but also hurt, we have created barriers. Lots of barriers for some, for others, maybe less. But these defenses are often solidly in place. And maybe with a spiritual awakening, you experience for a moment an incredible opening that allows you to feel, oh, you're so much more, and you're so much more than your defenses. And you can maybe for a moment rest into just the loving presence that you are, and that you held by a loving universe. But then you come into a relationship with a friend, with people on the street, with your partner, wherever it is. And again, you might experience this contraction and this closing up, like the heart closes, the body closes. And so you feel like you fell from grace, you fell from the garden of paradise. And for many of you who are listening, you already may have engaged in actually the importance of dealing with our wounds, our humanity, and the places where we feel so fragile and often hurt. And also there is this longing of opening up to fully embody your potential. But with that contraction, the life energy, the life source cannot fully flow through. It gets stuck somewhere. It gets stuck in the heart, it gets stuck in the belly, it gets stuck in the back, it gets stuck in the head. And so we have these places that we hold, like, places where the river just doesn't flow through. The river of life. And to the extent we have contracted is the extent we cannot allow the life force to flow freely through. And we cannot allow ourselves to fully love and be loved, to be seen and to see, to hear and to be heard, and to meet one another truly. So we're in this dichotomy between human and divine, and often we swing back and forth between I must protect my vulnerability and the longing to open to greater dimensions of yourself. And so we pendulum between like vulnerability and indestructibility. We pendule back and forth between wanting relationship, engaging deeply, and withdrawing again. We want to come out and shine, and at the same time we hide in the closet. So it seems like this is a dance between that cannot find a resolution, and we struggle with life as well. We want to open to the love that is here in this universe, and at the same time we're afraid that if we open wide, we also will experience the pain, the sorrows, and the suffering. So now in this place where we get stuck, there is a touch, a way to make a bridge, to take the red thread and weave all the elements together of our psyche, of our spirits, and also the elements of this world. Now, how is this really possible? And before I really want to give you also a direct experience, so you're not just sitting there and listening to yet another talk, I want to also say that I feel extremely, in this time, I feel passionate and extremely dedicated to help people to unite everything so we can find new solutions for this situation on our planet, so we can navigate the ship through the storm, so we can actually take others along with us too, and that we are able to heal the deepest wounds, that the deepest traumas become actually a gateway into our awakening, into our liberation. Because I think that's where all my work is based on, is that love is here. The presence that we are is here, and it wants to take everything home. It is the space that holds our ship in the great vast sea. And to fully root and ground in that, of course, we need to be in our bodies. In my work, for so long, I've seen people often very much up in the head and out in space. And as we are out in space, we may feel safe. It's like we go to the 10th floor of our house and fly into the sky. And there's a disconnection, yeah? That's like, you don't really feel whether your feet are warm and cold. Just check right now what is the temperature in your feet? Where's your breath in your body? Where do you experience it? So this journey back into our bodies is essential. It's like that's our ship, or that's our house. If we have abandoned our house, well, no wonder that we experience great upheaval and confusion and overwhelm most of the time. And that we don't have the capacity then to deal with the crying kid in our house that's left abandoned. And when we checked out, we don't really feel connected with people around us and maybe your loved ones. And it also inhibits our spiritual, if you're on a spiritual path, it then really inhibits you from embodying, compassion, not just love, but passion, joy. It basically cripples us. And often for many reasons, of course. But one thing is that I've seen with people, that is such a fear of meeting your feelings. And there's many more reasons for this split between human, divine. And so when I work, a long time ago, I was trained as a Hakomi therapist. And I felt like that is a fantastic way that really creates lasting healing and organic change. But I felt like I have to bring the spirituality into it as well and integrate that. So what I came upon, whether it was in my groups or with individuals, was the same thing. That link of deep connectedness that is the medicine that can shift everything in your life, that can open you to authentic relating, and that can catapult you really into your nature, into that loving presence. Excuse me. And so for that, I give you a simple example right now, and you can practice that with me. It's very easy. For a moment, just become aware of your body, your breath, the temperature in your feet, where you feel tension or at ease. Become aware of your emotional landscape without trying to change anything. That's really important. Just notice, what are you feeling? It doesn't matter if it's joy or if it's pain, if it's boredom or if it's excitement. You just acknowledge. What is here in your emotional body? And the first thing I invite you to say to this feeling, simply a yes. Notice what happens. Again, we're not after trying to change it. Just notice what happens when you give a yes to the emotion that's present, or the emotions that are present within your body. So we're not thinking about what emotions you have. You just notice, where is that feeling that fear or that yummy joy, where does it live right now in the body? Where is it? And you give it a yes, and you give it your breath without fixing it, manipulating it, or anything like that. It's like an unconditional yes, you're here. Yes. And your breath. Breathe out through the mouth. Then become present to your mental landscape. And the key is do not refrain actually from clinging to the thoughts or rejecting any thoughts. Just I invite you to notice whether the thought train is fully packed, very busy with many thoughts, or if it's fairly quiet in there. You're viewing the train, the thought train. And then let that be. Again, we're not engaging in fixing the thoughts. You don't need to try to silence your thoughts. It's not necessary. And I invite you to look into your environment and just notice 3 colors. Two sounds you can hear. And 1 taste you may have in your mouth. You may notice that you're becoming more present here. Because being present in our body, in our environment, is the ground. Now, the next thing that is really important, because we are in our human vulnerability, we often feel really unsafe. So if we don't feel the safety, we cannot expand. We can't explore, we can't play, we're tight. And the safety is essential also because for the contraction to have a place to open into, to be received. So we start with the safety in the outer. And just look around in your room and just notice what actually feels safe. It might be a picture. It might be a plant. And I want you to linger here and just notice what it's like to look at that plant or picture, allowing your nervous system to sense, to feel into there's safety here, there's a safe spot here. You can also do that when you're in a conflict in your relationship. Just find a safe spot. And the next thing is, we do need to feel held. Most of us are lacking that severely. And so we feel ungrounded and we yeah, we cannot really, we function from a survival brain then. So in order to turn off the alarm bells in the nervous system, there's an important piece that's called holding. Sometimes we have nobody to hold us. Sometimes we do not feel the whole universe holds us. It's quite the opposite. We feel like the whole universe is against us. You know that one? Yeah. Sometimes even as a therapist, if you work with people, you feel you have to do everything. And in that moment, you're not free to respond from your loving presence. So what you want to do is to allow yourself to feel the chair below you or the couch you're sitting on or the floor, wherever you are, and sense the physical holding there. Sense that this couch, this chair holds you. It's very concrete. Feel your buttocks being held by the chair. And allow your weight to drop into that. And we can go even deeper into the spiritual holding where you, again, we don't work with imagination so much rather than in what is real and concrete, because the nervous system will only respond to that ultimately. So let yourself for a moment drop below this chair and feel into, oh, the earth is below all that, holding you. Nobody ever has fallen off the earth. So feel that gravity, that pull down. When our nervous system is activated, we usually go up and out. We go into outer space. But what we want to do in order to live fully embodied is to come home to the ground. The earth is holding you. Maybe your mother didn't hold you. Maybe your father wasn't there, but the earth is there. And just let yourself drop down. Because nothing can open up until we feel held. And when we feel held, even the deepest wounds can unfurl. It's like we're giving that contracted one a hand to land in. So you can do this with your hand, just contract with a fist here. Put the other hand below that and slowly let that fist drop into the hand below. And make sure you put all the hands, you can't see it right now, onto your lap so that you're really comfortable. And just notice what happens to the contracted hand when the other hand, that loving presence hand, is holding it. And your legs, your lap is holding both hands. And then your body, your whole body is held by the chair and below that by the earth. And take some breath, breathe out through your mouth. That's always very helpful. And in this moment, I invite you to notice how your landscape may have changed or not, whether your emotional body is more at ease or not, whether your body is more at ease or not, whether your thoughts are faster or slower. Just notice. And again, I invite you to breathe in and breathe out through your mouth. And take your seat on the earth in presence. So without presence, we cannot see where the ship needs to go. We cannot deal with turbulence. We cannot deal with traumas. We cannot deal with nothing. But without love and being held, we just stay contracted. We may see everything. We may be aware. But without the love, we cannot touch anything that is needing to be seen, to be heard, and to be met. So this is the deepest call in most human beings, to everyone. You probably too. You want to be accepted as you are. You want to be received. You want to be loved as you are. And so everybody's walking around looking for it. And you know, you might get some pieces here and there, but then you realize, oh, this person is also not 100% all the time listening to you and loving you. And then you might turn to, you know, spirit or God, whatever you might call it, and try to find that unconditional love somewhere. And that's helpful. But then you feel alone. So these dichotomies, yeah. So again, what we want, my work is very much about threading everything together, using that red thread of connectedness. So how do we, from this space here, can we even deeper connect? How can we connect to the places that are calling, that are screaming, that are aching? How can we connect to the joy and also the dance between each other in a real way? And then I'm going to bring in now another piece, and part of it comes from Hakomi, but I've taken it up further to also support an awakening inside. But for now, we'll keep it really simple. Like truth is really simple. And medicine, the true medicine for this psyche, for the fragmented parts, is actually very simple, which has gotten very complex and complicated. And a lot of it has to do with that we live in the head, or that we have immense defenses. So what we want to do is just to taste. I invite you to taste, just for a minute. So notice what it's like when I say to you something. I'll invite you to notice what happens in your body, in your emotions, and in your thoughts. And there's nothing you have to do other than just notice what happens when I'm giving you a taste of that loving presence. I am here with you. I am here with you. And again, just notice. Allow everything to emerge. Maybe nothing happens. Maybe a lot happens. I am here with you. Some of you, the mind will start talking, saying, well, she's just on a screen. She doesn't even know me. So that's the defense. And that's okay. We're not really going after getting rid of resistance and defense. I just invite you again. Just notice also what happens in this moment in your body, and be curious what happens also in your heart. I am here with you. Just breathe. And then begin to notice how much stays out and how much goes in. Like if you take a scale of 0 to 100%, let's begin to notice. I am here with you. And then breathe, and we do it one more time. I am here with you. And then relax. So for some of you, something might have stirred up here. And for some of you, the mind might have gotten really active. For some of you, you may have experienced, warmth in your body, warmth in your heart. Some of you, you might have tasted for a moment that nectar and then rejected it. Some of you may experience it, really being touched and tears coming. So here again, what we want to do is like saying yes to whatever you feel and whatever is arising. This simple, I am here with you, is not just, they're just not only words. This is that loving presence that comes through me to you. And this peace that we're so often missing in relationships. And that we need it from the moment we were born. More than even food and shelter. That sense, there's someone truly here. that peace, when that peace falls into place, that our system can truly take that in and has that taste is inside as a living experience. It's like that missing experience, suddenly we filled that place that's been aching for that. When that is more full, it also can awaken in us that same loving presence. But it is the basis for healing any trauma, because our trauma has, like I said before, has happened in relationship. And it is not that things happening in the world that we shouldn't experience pain and the parents should be perfect and the partner should be perfect. That's just, or you should be perfect. All that is just a wrong road. But what we need, as we know, the world isn't perfect. We need that I am here with you for ourselves and with each other. And if nobody is around, it's also the way you relate to yourself. I am here with you, no matter what you're going through. I got you. When that comes in, you might have a taste, you might have experienced a little bit of it. In that moment, something begins to open up. That original, that contracted space. Suddenly feels, wow, something just touched me. Like maybe your ache, your pain, your fury, whatever it is, that I am here with you, touched it. And there comes a sense of relief when that fully goes in. But the other thing that happens is whatever is being held back, whatever hasn't been heard or seen is going to come up and cry or speak, or what you've been holding back in the closet. And there is also a sense of liberation where you experience much more love and ease in your life and with each other. And the same with that piece. And it's not just I'm here with you. There are many other, you just got a little taste. But this piece, that glue, that red thread that weaves our, the spirituality, the embodied psychology, our whole human nature together, it unites. Also with the relating. And that moment, it's like there's an experience of wholeness, the original wholeness that you are. And what grows is a resilience to be able to engage with things that are difficult. We will have always challenge, and now we have lots of challenge. So when there is a hand, I'm here with you. And it doesn't mean that it always needs to be somebody. It can also be in you, and you cultivating that. But often we have to experience that also first with another, just like you tasted a little bit. What we also can bring in, what I developed is called a resonant relating way. And this piece about really being there. seated more in our nature and being at ease with our humanity, being at ease with our vulnerability. These are capacities we have to grow. So, but it doesn't mean you have to just go endlessly into therapy and endlessly sit on your meditation cushion. You can also play with this together, because it's going to catapult you much easier through things. So what is it like when you sit, for example, with your partner and just practice a little bit? This is just one of the few things, the resonance relating, where I'm really here with you and I start meeting what's going on in you, I start meeting what's going on in me, and start meeting what's going on in the field between each other, between us, without trying to fix and change that, but to come into radical welcome, to say, so whatever is here, first of all, it's okay to be here. It doesn't mean I need to like it. Let's say you have a conflict with someone, and sorry, I have a little cough today. And what is here is okay to be here, because most of our struggle is against life itself, where things shouldn't be there, but they already are. And the same as like you already have abandonment pain and all these things inside of you, and your partner too. Everybody has a different variation. So we're not going towards, in that resonant relating, we're not going towards that you should feel always happy and you should always feel love. And no, we're not doing that. It's about being authentic, but it's about being authentic in a really present and loving way and helping each other with that. We're not taking our partners for healing traumas. That's not a good idea, but we can create this field and be that field of saying, yes, your humanity and your divinity is welcome here. Your glory and your messiness. And so is who I am. Now, that radical welcome is not always easy, because you may not like when your partner doesn't clean up. And so that doesn't mean that you say, oh yeah, it's okay that you never clean up. No, it's to say in that resonant relating, my connection with you is first. I first engage in connecting with you in a real way, and then we address the issues. So what does that mean? It means that I come with the first and foremost, most important piece of saying, I'm here to connect first with you. That's my priority. As a human being, I am willing to say, and how are you in this moment? And to let you get to know me, of saying, and I feel this right now. My body is tight. I feel, or, I'd be real with you here. I feel at ease. I wish I could see you all right now. It's a little weird to talk on that screen, but I can feel that I'm connecting through that screen with anybody who's listening. So there's also a joy in sharing this with you. And my mind is at ease. It's very quiet. So now, what you do is to share with your partner or your friend what's present in you, not what is what you think about, but simply just say a few things about your and what you're feeling, how your body is, your mind, and also what you might be experiencing in your soul or a deeper heart, saying, I've been missing you. I really want us to be even deeper connected, and I enjoy being in this moment here with you. So that's how you start coming into resonance. Of course, there's way, way more. And I teach trainings on that and courses, but for now, I want you just to explore what it's like to actually bring up in your relationships or with your clients. With your clients, it's different. You don't bring up your own thing, but you bring your client, invite your client to speak what's present here. Not just the story, but what they experience, who the person is behind the story, what that person experiences. Does that make sense? I hope so. So then you basically, you don't want to just address the coat the person is wearing. You want to address the person who's behind that, behind their opinions, behind their story, behind their life experience. Who is that person in this moment right now? Who is with you? And so you start engaging with, you're feeling sad. Or, oh, I noticed this like real tightness in you and a longing to come out of the shell. So you also can address what's going on deeper. It's like you're listening from a deeper space. You're engaging with the song of the soul the person is singing. And the attitude has to be, I'm curious what's going on in your world. I'm curious of who you are. Means put your assumptions away, put your interpretations away. In psychology, we also do this so often, like there's these interpretations, the person is this or that, but you won't discover somebody until you come from that space that is both loving and exquisitely curious. Now, have you ever sat with somebody who's like so present and lovingly curious about you? You, not the things you talk about. I mean, they have their place, of course. And you look at them and there's this, what starts revealing is so much deeper. But also when you receive that, for some people, they start talking and there's something opens up. Because we go back to the primary need is to be truly heard, seen, and met. That's like, we want to, even the one in the closet doesn't want to hide out forever in the closet. But you can't drag her out. You can't force a trauma to open. It's just violence. Or you can't just spiritualize it away. Well, you can go into that closet with that person and just say, wow, that's a really cool place you made in your closet. You got tea here, you got cookies. It's nice and dark. Nobody finds you because you've got a curtain in front of your closet. And you just sit with them in their experience for a moment. Taste that. And then if you're in a non-therapeutic relationship with somebody and you're not in a position of you're the one who's guiding others, but then you're with your partner or your friend, Maybe just hang out in their space for a moment. And then also let the other person see, where are you? Well, you may not know. Then you start with saying what is actually here. Well, I have no clue who I am. I have no clue where I am, and I'm completely lost. Then, as the one who responds, you do not go and try to fix the person with advice. And you really don't want to get towards like, oh, well, but you should read this book and that book. All that comes after. You make connection first. Say, wow. And you don't tell them about how you were lost once. You go right into their experience and say, wow, I can really sense you with that lostness. I'm here. Let's be together with your lostness. And then you notice also what happens between the two of you as you're engaging in a very alive way. Well, there might be, wow, I'm experiencing far more connection right now and aliveness. And it can be very fast and easy. And then you can deal with the socks that your partner always leaves on the floor. And by the way, when you feel really connected means you can sit on a bench with each other, and there's pain, there's joy, there's hate, there's anger. Everything gets to be here, but you can hold hands in the midst of it. And then you can bring in the socks. So I know it's a lot that I'm packing into the session or into this, video. But I do hope that you're getting something out of that really supports you. And so that inspires you to bring these pieces together on, spirituality, embodied psychology, and relating. And if you're inspired or touched or moved, you're welcome to go to my website, nicolamadora.com. There will be more online courses just because we need it in this time. Usually I hold many groups in person, but right now there will be more. And also have a look on my events page. And there's soon a book coming forth as well called Love Unleashed, How to Rise in a World on the Edge. And I really hope you enjoyed this session and take with you whatever you received, and may you thrive even when everything goes upside down. Thank you so much for being part of this.